Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Sleepwalkers. And this movie came out in 1992, and it's written by Stephen King. Whenever I see Stephen King's name attached to anything, I always assume it's based off of one of his books, but apparently this one is an exception. It wasn't based off of a book like that he wrote, but rather he just wrote the screenplay for this movie, and this is how it came to be. So if you're wondering if this was based off of a book, not specifically from one that I know, or at least not one that I've read. This movie had some good things about it. There were some good practical effects towards the beginning, and I did like the opening scene of just looking at all the aftermath of what happened, and it reminded me a lot of, that scene in John Carpenter's The Thing where they're just looking at the Norwegian base, all this chaos that's already happened. Like that's what it reminded me of, and I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting and cool. And I didn't think it was poorly done in any way. And the movie wasn't a bad-looking movie in every scene. There are some parts where there are too many close shots and I can't really make out what's going on, and that happened towards the end. But for the most part, it felt like there was a bit more personality from the visuals and trying to have somewhat of a presence that there's a director making this movie. It's not super boring to look at the very least. And I wasn't really bored by this movie. It's 90 minutes, doesn't really overstay its welcome, but I wasn't entertained simply because I was engaged with the story and what it was offering me. I was entertained just because of how stupid everything was. And there are some jump scares in this movie that were ineffective for me. And this one girl being our main character's target was just absolutely hilarious to me. I laughed when that happened. And there are some weird directions this movie goes down. And like the mom and the son just having a relationship that was like, okay, what are we doing here? Like, were you trying to make it scary that, oh, they love each other so much to an uncomfortable degree? Like, was that supposed to be horror in and of itself? Because if that was the case, then it didn't really add anything. I didn't care, and I was just kind of caught off guard more than anything, and then be actually terrified by anything. It was just an odd choice, and I was never clear as to what the rules of what was going on. I didn't really understand what was supposed to be happening in the movie. It never really goes into the lore of these sleepwalkers as to what are their powers, what do they need, what do they require, how things are done. Nothing like that. It's all kept under wraps and just a bit more straightforward, and it just you have to avoid these creatures, and it does leave a lot of questions unanswered, and I'm sure the first thing someone might be wondering is that, okay, in Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, when he took away all the things that explained what happened, I feel as though because of the direction he was taking with that movie, it benefited that film and made it more subtle. And there were still answers. You just had to dig deep and really figure out what it was going for. And the answer is pretty simple. And it knows what not to show you, which makes it scary. And it gives you just enough to give you enough context as to what's going on. Whereas in this movie, they don't explain anything at all, and even if it is subtle, it's not interesting. There are no likable characters in this film. And when these characters are trying to get this one girl to be tricked by them into thinking, yeah, this guy's interesting and kind of cute, I want to be around him, I never once felt that way about him. I always found him to be a creep. He wasn't charming or interesting at all. I just found him to be kind of creepy, and he was like that the whole time. Even when he was trying to be scary, he just came across as goofy, and never once did I feel as though anything that this character was doing was in service of the film to make it better. It always felt as though it was being taken in a direction that dragged it down, and Also, there are some name actors in this movie, like Ron Perlman. He's in this movie, and when I saw his name in the opening credits, I was excited to see him. I'm like, oh, what's he gonna bring to this movie? And he's in it for like 2 scenes, and he does nothing. And also, Stephen King does have like a little cameo in this movie, and it's kind of funny when he shows up. And also, both Stephen King and Ron Perlman don't show up until like an hour through the movie. The action scenes in this movie were very goofy, couldn't take them seriously, characters making dumb decisions, and I was just not into it at all. And the visual effects in this movie didn't really hold up. I never once felt as though I was watching something that was part of the environment, always felt like an effect, which is very unfortunate. The music choices also drag this movie down. They could have either chose better music choices or no music at all. Would have been fine, but couldn't do that either. And that's about all I have to say about Sleepwalkers. It was not very good. I would recommend that you skip this movie. I watched it on Netflix and I saw it in 1.5 times speed because I knew just after 10-15 minutes that this movie was probably going to be a big waste of time. So I just decided to do that, and it was a bit less painful. So that's about all I have to say about Sleepwalkers. And with all that being said, I'm going to give Sleepwalkers a 3 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below your thoughts of Sleepwalkers, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo from 2009. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.